All right, live again. Mr. Stacey Wyatt, Mike Price. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing wonderful. Yourself?
I'm doing well, man. Well, we're today's topic is the current real estate market, right? Um, you and I talked to a lot of agents. I've talked to 5 or 6 agents this week uh, that have reached out to me for different reasons, and all of them want to know about the market. Where it's going, what's happening, and you and I have weathered this storm before, and having a team is a great thing. It's one of the hardest things you'll ever do as a team owner, but being a team owner. But like right now, I mean, we're still rolling at a good clip. We've got nine pending, and we're a hair above 30 million for the year, looking to close it out. Probably close to 100 units again, and a little over 40 million, and that's a great feat, and that's because we know what's going on in this market. How about you, man? What's your team looking like right now?
Yeah, I mean, we're still chopping wood. I think we're 9-10 pendings. We're bringing on 2 big luxury listings today, so it's just staying consistent. So we're in a good spot, and we're still planning to do that through close out the year strong. Probably I think we're going to land somewhere around 60 million in volume this year, which would be our best year ever, and then just figure out how to do better than that next year.
That's right. Well, one of the things that I get asked, and I know you do too, is, what's working right now? It's a different market than it was 6-7 months ago, where you could go in and literally talk to a seller. They could sweep the front porch off. You put a sign in the yard, you get 20 offers.
Yeah.
The biggest challenge was managing all those offers. What are some things that you and your team are doing right now to get these listings, to get these big listings and to keep the under contracts coming in?
Yeah, in thinking through a lot of that, especially, I think I've had a lot of conversations with agents that reached out lately because the market's gotten a little tougher for them, right? Over the last 2, 3, 4 years, it's been fairly easy, right? Because the market's been just chugging along. We've had massive demand. And so for a lot of agents, especially if they've entered the business the last 3, 4 years, things have been easy, like you said. Now we're moving into a skill-based market. And what it's exposing is, do these agents have systems in place, right?
Right.
And so for our team, we're very systematic how we approach our database. And our database is, we call it our sphere of influence, people that we know that know us, and then our past clients. And so we take a very systematic approach to staying top of mind with them. It's not, our database's job to remember we're a real estate agent. And first of all, they only can, at any given time, they only have space in their head for 2 agents. Right. And when it's time for them to buy or sell or invest or whatever else they're going to do, it's our job to stay top of mind. So when they think of real estate, they think of us. So I will say we take a very systematic approach. Has always been one cornerstone of what we built the company on, is our sphere of influence and past clients. And, another year, I'll have to look at the numbers again, but I'm guessing we're probably around 75 to 80% of our business comes out of our sphere of influence and past clients. So what does that mean to an agent that's just been kind of winging it the last couple of years? Here's one stat, which is a little scary. So of the 1.4 million agents that are in the National Association of Realtors, only 600,000 of them, 40%, have actually done one transaction.
Wow.
That means 800,000 agents haven't sold a house this year, right? Yeah. So there's a whole challenge with the newbies, right? The ones that have entered the market, maybe in 2020, COVID, some other things. That's a whole challenge in itself of how they're learning to do business. Well, a lot of people are like, well, you just missed, and I've heard this quite a bit recently, agents that got in the business are like, oh, you just missed the heydays of real estate. Now they're actually going to put in some time. So let's set the new agents along, aside for a second, because I'm leading on something here, is then you've got these agents that have done fairly well, right? Maybe they came new to the business, but they're aggressive. They talk to a lot of people, and they're in a really good spot where they've actually created a lot of business for themselves. The challenge is they never took the time to build any systems around all of that success. and now moving into a market where they don't have any systems to automatically stay in touch with their people, right? That's the piece that I think a lot of them are missing and are going to need to figure out, how am I going to systematically touch my sphere of influence, past clients, and consistently bring business in a market that's is basically just resetting itself. Like, it's not like 2008, 9, 10, worst market, and hopefully you're in my lifetime. We're not going back to that market. This is simply resetting, getting back to a little bit of a normalized market where we're seeing reasonable appreciation in Atlanta. So all that being said, we're very systematic of what we do, especially our sphere of influence and clients, but then we're also systematic on how we approach what we call our have-not mets, the people who we're out trying, because we need to continue to grow the business, right? We did 40 million, to 60 million this, next year's probably going to be 80 million. Is, if we're going to grow that, how are we systematically finding people, driving people to our website and bringing them into our fold to where they get to know us, we get to, earn their business and then continue to grow. So this is going to be a market where systems are going to play a huge role versus some of the agents that have just been winging and have had good success.
Well, the win for all agents is the consistency in the daily activities, and having a database that's set up. I'm the same way. We probably 70+% of all our business comes from our database at this point. You got to have a very consistent message. You got to be very consistent with your daily activities. And I know, it's easy to look up at somebody like yourself or myself that's, got this team doing a lot of numbers, but this is, 10, 11 years in the making, and it's been a lot of trial and error. And there's a lot of agents out there in the market right now that are doing and trying to figure it out, trial and error. And that's the old way of doing it, right? You come in, you hopefully find somebody that you can hitch your wagon to and learn some. And, it's really basically trial and error. And you and I, over the last year or 2 years, have grown our business, close to 30% a year or more. Looks like you're going to do a little more this year. And I would say that the number one thing for me was being involved in being in the right rooms with the right people.
Yep. And
being associated with people that are doing it at a much, much higher level, because it opens your thinking. It opens your mind. It opens your, the possibilities of what could be. And it removes the fear, right? It takes the fear away, because we're talking to people every week on Monday at our mastermind that are doing 100, 200, 300 million. And they're just laying out the playbook on how to do it. And it's just, I don't know anywhere else, somebody else is doing that. And what would you, if you could say, a couple of things about the mastermind, I mean, how's that helped you and your team, go from, a 30 to 30% jump this year?
Yeah. To step back and just to talk a little more, what does a mastermind really mean? Is it's almost let's call it a national team meeting of the top agents in the country, right?
Yeah.
I think we're approaching 700 agents on that call, and agents are in all, various journeys from, 20, 30, 40 million up to, well over 500, 600, 700 million on that call.
Yeah.
And so what it's turned into is a weekly meeting that we all huddle up and talk about current real estate market, what's working, what's not working. We're sharing, basically everything that we do. And yeah, I mean, I had that at my last brokerage to an extent, never to this level, not so deep in the collaboration. If I need, we're talking about potentially doing radio. I don't want to have to go through spend, $50,000, $60,000 on radio ads to know that I just made a crappy ad. Mm-hmm. I'd rather talk to the agents that have done radio, get their ad copy and deploy it quickly. And so that's like the Monday call is like, you just learn so much about the business. And it's cool because, you submit questions ahead of time so that it's a very controlled call. I mean, you got 700 real estate agents that all like to hear themselves talk, right? So Kyle and Dan do a fantastic job of running it. Questions come in early. And then of 700 agents, we all have our own superpower, right? Mm-hmm. And so whatever agent may have a superpower on the question that was asked, then you're getting it likely from the expert that is in billboard or radio or farming or SOI or whatever it may be, which is phenomenal. And here's the bigger point of this is like this market that shifted really dramatically over the last 30 days. We know it's been shifting for 60, right?
Mm-hmm.
Seemed like it turned on a dime 30 days ago. Here's the
Yeah.
difference. Our team hasn't skipped a beat, and this is why. We've been talking about this since June, and in some
Yeah.
cases, April, because we said back in April, May, June that rates are likely going to go. I predicted as high as 9%, right? Hopefully we don't get there. But that was, we were talking back in June. So what did we do? We were already practicing the conversations back in May and June. We weren't waiting until it was the market of today. We were talking back in June where the market was going. It's that old Gretzky, right? Don't skate where the puck is going, or where the puck is, skate where it's going.
Right.
And as a leader of an organization, and even if you're an individual agent, right, you're still leading a team of, you've got people around you in some manner. You need to be looking what's coming down the road, right? And that's what these masterminds do, is because you got some of the brightest minds in real estate nationally in all different markets. And we're all, because all the markets experience different things at different times. Some started shifting earlier than Atlanta.
Yeah.
You know, I'll be on record here as like Atlanta is going to be probably the best market to survive this shift of any city in the country. And I can prove it via data. And for all the reasons that you and I like living here. But my point is, in those masterminds, we were talking about this 4 or 5 months ago.
Yeah.
So we prepared our business for it. We right-sized expenses. We got in the mindset of, hey, instead of 5 conversations, we now have to do 10 to be able to do the same level of business. So these masterminds, one, are saving thousands of dollars on coaching calls. And I still believe in coaches, right?
Right.
But that's the level of information we're getting on these, to the depth of the collaboration is off the charts. And we're able to then, as leaders, take information from there and then go, in our situation, go guide our teams months in advance versus getting hit with the market shift and not being prepared. Because then that does also, I look at that's a disservice to our clients. If I'm going on a listing consultation and describing what the market was 3 months ago because I'm not aware and I'm not looking down the road, that's a disservice to them, because that house may sit on the market, they get pummeled and they're going to net lower. Where we come in with a pricing strategy and a condition strategy built for today's market, we're going to get a W for our sellers and in some cases our buyers, which is all, completely different strategy. But that's how we lead and that's how we win for our clients at a really high level. So that's what the mastermind's done for us. And look at this. I left the last brokerage, in roughly around 20 plus million. And we're pushing 60 million. We've tripled our business.
Yeah.
3-year period, right? And I owe it a lot to the people that we've been around masterminding with and really just digging into our business plans to understand how can we pour gas on this and not spin a lot of wheels in the trial and error method that you mentioned earlier, because that's a very costly and you can't get that time back. So that's what the mastermind's been to us and how we've deployed it through our team.
Well, I'm going to, mirror a lot of those comments because, like you said, the market's changed at different times. The guys and girls out in California, it's different for them than it is for us. A lot of times they're hit first, right? And then the people that we're talking with are doing anywhere from 10 to 50 or 75 units a month with their teams. Well, somebody with that much volume is going to have a really good handle on what's going on in the market. To get 75 under contract in 1 month, they had to talk to 250 people. And so, and it was, and the nurture of the lead, like you said, it's used to have 5 conversations. Now it's 10. Now, instead of 30 to 60 days out, it may be 60 to 90 to 120 days out. So that's where the skill base comes in. And you and I both been on, I don't know how many hundreds and hundreds of listing appointments, but you could go in to a listing appointment 6 months ago and have the best stats and the best marketing piece and the best everything. And they're going to go with the agent that priced it the highest. Yep. Because that was the market. And the sellers are now realizing that, or some of them are realizing, but most are in denial, that you can't do that right now. And so for the agents out there that are listening to this call or will listen to this at some point, if you're not practicing your scripts and dialogues, if you're not setting a couple of appointments every week, if you're not going on 3 or 4 appointments a month, you may not be in the right room. And if you're not in a room where there's people pouring information into you, like for the mastermind, for instance, the fast forward mastermind on every Monday at 1:00. that someone will go in and say it's a farming, right? Say Dan Beer's talking about his farmings. He'll not only talk about the farming, he'll then start adding links into the chat on where to go to get all the resources that he uses for his farming. Yep. And here's the system, and here's the playbook. And then you can go to our Facebook group and get the rest. And it's like getting the answers to the test immediately. Now you still have to deploy it, right?
Oh yeah.
But that's a lot. That's what a lot of people don't have. And I'm going to go ahead and make an open invitation to anybody that watches this. If you know me or you know Stacey and you have our cell phone number, text us. If you don't, send us a message. And if you want to see what it's like to be in this mastermind call, come on, we'll invite you. We're not going to beg you to be an EXP. It's just help you to grow your business so you can provide for your family. So you're not one of the ones that's looking for a job in May because you didn't take advantage of what's available to you.
Exactly. Yeah. 100% agree. And there's a lot of agents that I talk to on a consistent basis that, aren't with EXP that I'm coaching. And listen, they're smart enough to reach out and we'll have conversations about, helping direct them down a certain road. Because in some cases, it's a path that I've already crossed.
Yeah.
But I will say, like on these mastermind calls, if you think of it like this, right? And sports analogy is whenever a new player joins a team, you give them a playbook. Well, damn, there's all the plays, right? And that's the first step because that's what agents want to see. They like, what's the playbook? They always want to peek over an agent's shoulder.
Yeah.
This is the perfect opportunity, not only to look over the shoulder and see the playbook. Then the next question is wow, this is awesome. I've never seen this before. But how do you run the plays? And that's what this mastermind is. These collaboration calls, I almost want to call it, is now we're actually going to dig in and actually show you how to run the plays, right? Because a lot of calls spin off of our Monday call when I want to call and I talk to Danny in California, who's heavy on video, and he's gotten a lot into direct mail. He sent me over his couple direct mail pieces. Now, I'm not as good looking as Danny, but I'll put my ugly mug on his postcard. I didn't have to recreate the postcard. I already had a clear call to action. Dan Beard actually vetted it for him because he shared one of his. Not only are the agents getting the playbook, right, which most of them want from a seasoned agent, like, how are you guys doing what you're doing? Then they're actually wanting the next phase is usually, how do I run the plays? And so that's the big takeaway on the Monday calls. And as you know, we do a Tuesday call, modern agent call, which is a little more of a localized call where we get in the nitty gritty. We're talking about market stats. What do you hear from buyers or sellers? What does the market look like? Like we get in the really nitty gritty of it. So either one of those calls, the Monday call is just packed. Like you can't leave the Monday call without one or two nuggets that could completely change your business, right? And I think now more than ever, a lot of agents are going to need that because we're moving into a very different market. I'm still excited for that market just because we're built for up, down, flat, whatever it may be. I think agents are just looking at the last couple of years being so frothy that now we're moving into where it's going to be a little bit of harder work. May not have built the skills to really survive that type of market. And those are the things you're learning on Monday because you're treating us like a business and you're showing up every Monday like a pro and building your mindset, but then two, the information you need to move your business along.
Well, you nailed it right there. If there's one takeaway from this call, it's mindset. You can't do anything without the right mindset. And for me, and I know you probably have a similar story. You and I have always been big thinkers. We got in the market when it was, right at the crash and right after the crash. And we were seeking out coaching and groups and creating groups and anything we could do to get our hands on the information. And by doing that, you have the mindset of an entrepreneur. You have the mindset of a business owner. I want to be successful, but not just that. I want to take action to do that. And being in the room with this mastermind and being around so many people that are doing so much business, and then to them to look you in the eye and go, yeah, I'll send that to you, whatever it is they just did. Yeah, I'll put that in the chat and send it to you. And if you need some help, just give me a call offline and we'll set up another separate call. To be able to have access to those people and to hear what they're doing, it makes my little 100-unit team, which is not little, seem small when these people doing 500 units are laying out the path. And if you're not in a room, it's like watching the news. Which news channel you watch, that's what you're thinking all the time. If you're in the room where people are talking production, talking talking sales, talking growth, talking systems, you're going to be internalize that stuff. And that's what you're going to be doing. And that's the reason that both of you and I have had so much success over the last couple of years. And the market, I'm not scared at all about this market. I'm actually really excited about it because you and I and the other teams that we know are going to take market share and scoop up a lot of opportunities that wouldn't have been there because, somebody else that gave a higher list price got the deal.
Yeah. Well, all the agents, first of all, the, 800,000 agents that haven't done a transaction, right, are probably going to, a good portion of those are going to move out of the business. Then there's going to be a lot of the agents that did one transaction. And unfortunately, they're like, hey, this is harder than I thought. They'll probably get out. So that's going to leave more market share for the rest of us. But the one thing I also wanted to mention, because I have so many conversations, like even the agents that are out there not wanting to sell 100 homes a year like you are, right? Maybe they only want to sell 20, and that's perfect for their family. And they don't want to grow a team because, there's a lot of challenges that come with growing a team and running a business. Maybe they only want to sell 18 to 20 homes. Mm-hmm. Well, these calls are also for them in the sense of, well, maybe now, since it's a little harder, maybe next year you're only going to sell 10, but they built their lifestyle on selling 18 to 20. Mm-hmm. These calls are also for them because for those agents, leverage is even more important to them because there's usually only one, solo agents, it's just them. And maybe they've got a little bit of third-party contract to close or listing management help. They've probably got a closing attorney and a good mortgage person, right? So they do have a team in a sense, but it's just them. And so if they're going to continue to sell 18 to 20 homes and live the lifestyle that they've built off of that, this room is also for them because they're going to learn leverage, right? Like we both have multiple, virtual assistants in the Philippines.
Yeah.
Jay's changed my life. Like this guy is awesome from the marketing and all the stuff that he does for us. Well, if it wasn't through this group that really learned how to use a virtual assistant at high level,
exactly,
company and how do we deploy them and how do we train them and all that fun stuff, dude, it's a game changer. And we're going to continue. We'll probably hire 2 more virtual assistants. We'll have 4, I think, by the end of the year that are game changers for our business. Well, where did I learn that? I learned it in this room.
Yeah.
Right. And so those agents that are hearing all these big numbers, 100 units, 200, 400, 500, majority, 80% of the agents don't want to grow to that level. And that's fine. The agents still selling, 15 to 30 homes have probably had a lot. And you and I, we talked about a gentleman down in Midtown and I did a transaction with him. And for nothing else, the guy must be a great salesperson because he was closing a lot of deals. But his business behind the scenes was an absolute train wreck.
Yeah.
No systems. He's like wanting, hey, just consult me on how to put my business together.
Yeah.
Those are the agents that really need to be loved on in this market.
Right.
Because they don't have the systems to recreate the success that they had in an easier market. So even any agents watching on here that are thinking, wow, that seems like a big room. A lot of what they talk about may be Greek. No, because you are going to grow into the conversations. You're going to grow into the conversation.
Absolutely.
Around you.
Yeah.
And you take 1 or 2 things away that you can deploy in your business today. The other things you're putting in the back of your head is like, oh, wait, when your business grows and you're to that point and you're to your next pain point or your next ceiling of growth, you're going to think back, wow, on that fast forward call on that Monday, I remember John Glutch mentioning this. And you go to Yoda, which is Glutch, right? Guy's brilliant on so many levels. You're like, John mentioned that. I need to go back and either watch that because all of our calls are recorded.
Yeah.
Or John's probably, one of us has left a document in there. When they're ready at that point, they can go back and find that piece of business. I mean, that's invaluable. And that would be, again, a $2,000 a month coaching lesson, right? Or call that we typically have to do it, but you're getting that value in that Monday group, which is, it's game changer for business owners.
Well, you and I are both paying $1,500 a month for coaching for I don't know how many years for a 30-minute call once a week. And we had some good coaches, no doubt.
Of course.
But to be immersed in an hour of, just absolute bliss of hearing all this information. And like you just said, not a lot of agents, most agents I talk to want to do 2 deals a month, 2 deals a month, an extra deal to go to 36, change their life. And, another thing that we both learned are different lead gen levers, and something that we're working on right now and some other people in our group, and all these great funnels that are working right now. I mean, that they're going right into our CRM KB core. They're producing, leads, $600,000, $700,000, $800,000 leads Now a lead's a lead. It's how well you convert it. But some of these are converting in 30 days and some of them are 6 months. But it's just another option at roughly $2.50 a lead.
Yeah.
And I would never have known about that had it not been for the people in the group that are doing that. And it's like, wow, that's another lever. And so all of you out there who are, hey, how do I do an extra 2 deals a month? Like, I've got a new database. I've been in the market. I've been a realtor for 2 years. I've sold 12 properties. I've got, I don't know what to do next. Reach out. I mean, we're happy to invite you to these things so you can listen and see how others are putting it together. And I'd say the majority of people out of 700, there's probably the majority of the people on the call are doing, maybe from 30 to 50 deals, but there's probably over 100 that are doing north of 100 million. And that's gold, getting that information, because those people have people on their team that are doing 1, 2, 3 deals a month. And so they're speaking directly to the realtor out there that wants to do, like you said, 20, 25 deals a month. I mean, a year. So it's just a phenomenal opportunity. And if you're not in it, you just need to be around the people that are talking about it.
Well, and you also said, so, there might be some people that watch this are like, okay, what the hell's a funnel? Here's the beauty of it, right?
Yeah.
A funnel is obviously a lead gen funnel where you get them in the top and work, you convert them and come out of the bottom and it turns into a commission. Well, the next question is, well, I'm not technical. I don't have to set it up. Well, we've got people that are just setting it up, right? You don't have to think about it. They're going to show you how to set it up. So you don't even have to go figure out how to set it up, which is brilliant. Yeah. And then there's other things like if I, give some love to Jorge Montilla in our group, right? He and I were talking, he had a goal that he wanted to get on YouTube, right? Because I've been talking a lot. Now, I do believe in all what I'll call the old school methods, because our team does them all. We do open houses, we do door knock, we call, like there's all these, what I'll call a little bit more old school. Mm-hmm. And they all still work. And that's why we do them, right? However, we're also more of a modern team, and we look forward in the fact that we also always talk about, we need marketing and advertising working for us while we sleep, right? Well, Jorge and I've had a lot of conversations about this, and he had a real passion for video. So I shared a course with Jorge that, I got to give the guy credit. He watched it and then he went and immediately implemented it. Mm-hmm. And he's done, I don't know, probably 15, 20 videos, all on real estate, what it's like to move to Atlanta, Gwinnett, all these different arenas. Now he picked a niche, he's bilingual, so he did them all in Spanish, mm-hmm. right? And followed the exact training, this YouTube training. We're out in Vegas and he's literally getting direct messages off his YouTube videos saying, hey man, I need to buy a house. Hey man, I need to buy a house. So it's, for a lot of agents, they're like, oh, the old, I don't want to door knock. That's not me. All the other shit I hear, right? That's cool. It works. And a lot of my agents do it because you know what? They want to be able to close business, build a lifestyle that they can't anywhere else. The second piece is we're also talking about all the modern tools that are out there so that while we're sleeping, leads are coming in, businesses coming in the door. And that's the ultimate goal. And so a guy like Jorge, we're going to get him on a call, because then the other couple hundred people that we hang out with every day in our group are going to want to know, man, how'd you deploy that? So now I got 3 or 4 other people taking that same training. We'll get Jorge on there, and he just followed the exact steps. So that's the ability of getting into a group. I paid for that course. I shared it with Jorge, right? And let him go to do it. What's up? And with you, right? And so that's the type of collaboration that we've had within our world, because we're helping each other grow our business. And now I'm like, man, I got to get back on video because Jorge's killing it on it. And we got to step up the game. So those are some of the cool things, especially for agents that are looking at this going, what am I going to need to do? There's the tried and true old school method. There's also the more modern lead gen that we're teaching in our group at a really high level to work while they sleep. And that's where I think a lot of agents want to go, especially more seasoned agents, because they've been in the business for a hot minute. They may be tired and beat down and see no end. Well, it's because they're not in these cutting edge groups that are figuring out how to generate business while we sleep, right? Yeah. And that's the type of stuff that we're teaching some of these agents that are a little more seasoned and trying to figure out how do they leverage themselves. Because if they're not out there promoting themselves or kissing babies and shaking hands, then they're not going to have any business. And we're teaching a lot of new modern ways, not only in our little world, but also, on the fast forward calls, we talk about that all the time.
Well, you're right. I mean, like like you said, if you've been in the business more than 10 years, you're probably a phone guy or a girl and have made a lot of calls. And I've made, like you, thousands of prospecting calls, and it's done really well. But that's not, I mean, a lot of people don't answer the phone now. People work on text. Everybody's looking at video. Everybody's looking at YouTube. I mean, you have to be able to see the path where it's going, like you said earlier, where it's going.
Yep.
And you can't just do one or two things. You have to be, multi-channel, and you split it up and put a little bit in each bucket, but execute. And, video is great. Some of us older guys, kind of shied away from it in the beginning because it's, not really how we came into it. But then as you do it more and more, like Jorge, now he's getting business coming from the YouTube. And I mean, from his YouTube channel. And I know a lot of people that sell, there's a lot of people in our group. Alicia Maddox, I'm going to throw her some love right now. I don't know how much, close to $16 million this year from social media. I mean, that's
a lot of DMs off Instagram.
5 years ago.
That's she gets a lot of DM off Instagrams, and now it's like anything like you said, I like a multi-channel marketing plan, because, there was a point where she called me and was like, hey, business slowed off of Instagram, right? Well, we've got that one running. Now let's get something else running. What's your other leg, right? And then the third leg, and you always got 3, let's call them pillars of lead generation working. And that's the cool thing, because she's crushing it on Instagram. Well, teach us all what you're doing on Instagram. Jorge's killing on YouTube. Well, Jorge, what are you doing on YouTube? You and I we're heavy SOI and past clients. Well, what are you guys using to systematically follow up with them? So that's the cool thing in this. And this is where the depth of the collaboration has changed the game. Right. No other brokerage that is out there, and we can talk about it, that goes to this level that incentivizes the depth of collaboration that I found at this organization. And it's funny, people that aren't even incentivized necessarily directly help. Like I get information from the Tina Calls and the Michelle Humes and all and Danny and there's so many people around the country, because we've built this culture. And I'm not going to take credit for, Glenn Sanford built the culture, or created the platform for guys like us and other agents that have joined us to create the culture where it's a giving culture, and it benefits us all, because as the company does better, we all do better, since we're all owners of the company, which is a game changer. Mm-hmm. And people talk about stock all the time. It's like, it's an income for stock, but it sure hell is nice to have an exit strategy. And I wake up, in 5 or 10 years, and I honestly think I'll have $1 million in stock in this company by, within a 10-year period, right? Yeah. Just from the shares that we earn, that we're giving, I continually buy. I mean, I think stock markets, all real estate stocks are down. EXP to me is the #1 performing real estate stock. And I'll put it up against Redfin, Zillow, Realogy, which owns, Better Homes and Gardens, Sotheby's, like 8, I think Coldwell Bankers, and like all those. EXP's got the highest market cap of all those. Compass, throw all of them in there. Yeah. EXP's got one of the best performing stocks. And the reason is because we've grown tremendously, and we're a very productive company in terms of transactions, and we're only getting more productive by the day. Yeah. Large teams are coming, all the producers are coming, because they treat us like owners here. And that is an amazing thing. And again, I didn't come for the stock, but it sure hell is nice when I wake up at the end of the day and I have a few other $100,000 to play the game with at a later date, or, pull my ripcord and I'm on the beach in Costa Rica and, I need a couple $100,000 to buy all the Mai Tais I want to drink while I'm getting my white ass, some suntan. So,
well, when you talk about the style, like we didn't come over, like we came over for the collaboration. You went out and met the guys. You said, Mike, you got to do this. I said, no, for 9 months. And then I finally looked at it and said, oh, no, I get it, which I'm so glad I did. I wish I'd have done it earlier. But like, I look at it like this. Will you get rich on stock? I'm not even thinking about it, but I do think about this. I paid a cap for 10 years at another brokerage. Yep. And I didn't get a whole lot back other than a little bit of value. Yep. And there's other brokerages out there, Compass and Ansley and a few others that have no cap, right? Correct. So at least here, I'm getting my cap back in stock. So there is something, you're still buying the stock. Correct. But you get it back in stock instead of just going to the broker. And so that in itself, and we have to do some culture requirements and teach like we were doing like we're doing now, teaching and mentoring and, being on panels. But it's the compensation model it's what ties it all together. It's the we're all owners in the company. We're all connected by the stock and the revenue share. It's all one thing. And the people like open up their playbook. Like you and I'll use this example. You and I have been almost side by side, a few miles apart for 10 years. Over those 10 years, we both sold about 1,000 homes. We have only bumped into each other, I think, one time last year on one deal, and that was it. I've never even seen your name on a deal. I mean, other than your passenger signs. My point is, you and I have been collaborating at a fairly high level when we were at the other brokerage. We've gone all in and shared everything over the last 2 years. Both of our businesses have gone up exponentially. And it just proves that collaboration over competition is the way to go.
100%.
We didn't have that. We had a little bit at the other place, but nothing like this. And so, ladies and gentlemen, if you are not in an environment where the top people in your company are coming to you and pouring into you and giving you everything they have, you may need to take a look at another room and see what that's all about. And just have an open mind and see. Your invitation to our Fast Forward Mastermind is there's no obligation. You can come as many times as you want because we want you to succeed. But if you're not around the people that have a vested interest in your growth, it's probably going to be a harder, longer time and a lot of trial and error.
100%. Agreed. Yeah. And no, the traditional brokerages out there, and for the most part, they take from the agent, right? And it's just, that was the model. I look at this model that we're in, and I just did some quick math here. We're on a 16K cap. I've been here 3 years. And so that's 48K, right? Let's call it 50 grand.
Yeah.
Well, between revenue share and stock, and again, is what it is. It's not why I came, but I might as well talk about it. The company's paid me almost 7 times of what I've paid in my cap. It's a game changer because I'm an owner now. And so I want to share with the mics and everybody that comes in my world. But here's the other thing. Put all that aside. Put all the financial aside. A lot of agents can only think about, and they're changing my office bill by $20 and they lose their mind, right?
Yeah.
This is where the mind shift is for me, is the person I've become since I've come here enables me to lead a team that does what we do. It enables us to earn stock, enables us to earn revenue share, enables us to invest, spend less and invest more.
Yeah.
So my takeaway from the time I've been here at EXP is this: it's benefited me more for the person that I've become than anything else monetary that anybody's given to me. And it's because I put myself in the right rooms. And in some cases, you and I know, I've forced myself into a room that either I wasn't allowed, because I just don't, Dan says it all the time, don't play by rules that don't exist. And so some of us has had to push our way into rooms to get around the people that we know that would help elevate us. So I think a lot of agents right now, when they're looking around at their brokerage, right? And listen, EXP is not for everybody. I'm going to be very clear about that.
Yeah.
However, if you're not getting any value, you don't feel like you're growing both personally and professionally, then you're in the wrong damn room. And the worst thing is we can't get our time back. 12 months from now, if you're still sitting in that same room and you've had no growth, nobody's poured into you and helped you grow, then you're absolutely in the right room. And maybe it's not EXP, but go get yourself in a room to where you can grow to whatever your wildest dreams. Because I've been blessed beyond, with riches beyond anything I ever imagined as a child. Mm-hmm. And I will say it's in part because of the rooms I'm in and the people I'm around.
Well, you nailed it. And like you just said, go everybody out there, whatever your brokerage you're with, go find a room. But Stacey and I are big advocates to go look in a bunch of different rooms. There's different people saying different things in different rooms, and go check out different places and take a time. Like right now, it's the end of the year. People are thinking about making shifts and brokerage changes. What does my brokerage give me now? And it's business planning's happening right now. We're setting goals for next year. Think about, and you and I do this every year. Yeah. Think about where did I go this year? How did it happen this year? What's my plan for next year? And is my current setup going to get me to where I need to be?
Correct.
And that's just not, I mean, we're not talking about just surviving. We're talking about thriving.
Correct.
And what does that look like? And I tell everybody, you should, if you are not happy with your current setup, you should be going out and checking out other setups, not just EXP, all of them. Ansley, Keller, Remax, Sotheby's, Berkshire, all of them. And go see which one's got the best option for you to grow your business and have the life that you want to live. That's what this is all about.
Correct.
EXP isn't for everybody. Coldwell Banker is not for everybody. Keller Williams is not for everybody. But you need to see which one's right for you and have an open mind. When you get a call from somebody that's offering to send you to a mastermind that could change your life, have an open mind and say yes and just go and 100%. Just absorb the information. You don't have to change brokerages to do that.
No.
But be open and always be seeking knowledge and seeking the best of the best and find out what everybody's doing to be successful.
Yeah. As the sole provider or provider for your family, I would say it's financially irresponsible if you're not looking at your options until your name's on the door and you own the brokerage, which, let's be straight, I looked at that option.
Never. No
First
way.
5 letters of brokers broke. I have no desire to do that. When EXP built a platform that we could have our own brand on their platform, it was the game changer for me, right? But I do think it's financially irresponsible for you as a part or sole provider for your family not to consider your options of what's best for you and your family. And tis the season. This is when the majority of agents make a change. And if you're looking at your 2023 plan, because 2022 wasn't so great, you should probably be talking and interviewing as many people as you can to find out where the right place is to build your business.
Yeah. And 2 things that I'll add to that. So number one, our good friend, Al Stacey, who's in Cleveland, Ohio, he said something the other day in another mastermind I'm in. He's talking to brokerages and teams, right? Small brokerages from 10 to 25, 50 agents, and then teams, up to 50 people. And he says, don't look at EXP as a brokerage. Look at EXP as a platform where you can scale your brokerage. Give up the liability and the cost and pain associated with brokering your own deal, and give that up and spend that extra time scaling your business, playing chess instead of checkers.
Yep.
And, the reason that I'm doing these, like Stacey and I have been friends for a long time. And the reason you and I do these is we want to give back, but you and I also interview a lot of other people from all over the country. And we're doing that for 2 reasons. Number one of the main reasons, I want to become friends with these people and hear what they're doing to grow their business.
Yep.
And so what a great opportunity. But it's also to give information to the public that there are some people in this world that are doing a tremendous amount of business that will share everything with you if you're just in the right room with them.
100%.
Yep, yeah.
100%. So.
All right. Well, cool, man. Stacey, hey, listen, always, buddy. Thanks for your time. I'll see you. Hopefully we'll see you again next week. We've got business planning tomorrow that we're putting on. And you guys, we're doing, business planning is almost over for the year. I think we may be able to squeeze in one more by December. And then there's always planning during the year. We're going to put on masterminds and panels, and we're going to gather, the top agents in the North Atlanta and in the Atlanta area and put them on a panel, and they're going to share everything with you on how they're doing stuff right now. And this is going to be more important as the months go on, because this is not going to be one of those things that goes like this again anytime soon. It's going to be like this and possibly this. And you've got to be able to be in the right room, learning a new skill and how to execute at a much higher level if you want to do the same business and even more. So
100%. Well, I'll leave for any of the agents that may be watching this that are living in a little bit of fear. I'm going to give you the 8 Ds of why I think it's a great time to be a real estate agent and will always be, right? Death, debt, divorce, deployment, displacement, meaning relocation, delivery. People have babies, they need bigger houses, right? Downsize, the older need a downsize, and the last one's disease we had in COVID. So those are the 8 Ds that you'll always be employed. You're just going to have to double the activities you did. So stay strong, and we're going to have the best year yet in 2023.
That's right. If you need it, if there's anything that Stacey and I can do for you, if you don't have our phone number or you're not friends on Facebook, you can Google us and find us. And then we're happy to help you with anything you guys need. Have a great day, Stacey. I'll see you soon, man.
All right, brother.
Thanks. Okay.